Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Tuesday Night Live. Thank you all for joining me tonight. This is going to be a solo show where you guys ask the questions and take the show where you want it to go. Just an opportunity for me to connect with you guys and you to connect with me. And I think it's going to be fun. Usually is on Tuesday nights. So put in the chat where you're watching from and we'll shout you out. And yeah, we'll get going. There's a lot of stuff going on in the running world. So a lot of stuff to talk about. And I'll be right back. All right, what's up, everyone? Mandy's in the house. What's up? We've got Teenage Autovia. I hope I said that right. Hello from Manila. Hey, Hurricane Fabian. Awesome. Thanks for joining. Drew H is in the house. What's up? Justin Turnbow's here. Hello, everyone from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Terry Anderson's here from Pennsylvania. Seek Your Elite is here from Brisbane, Australia. Every week we have I feel like it's a dedicated crowd from Australia. So thank you all. This is awesome. Dan Nelson's here from Omaha. Nicholas Bodner's here from Pennsylvania. Mile 62 Running Channel is here from Austin, Texas. What's the story behind Mile 62? I'd be interested in that. Let me know. Josie's here. Hey, everyone from Montreal. And Matt LeGrand is back in the house watching from the old bike trainer again. That's awesome. I used to do, when I used to run triathlon, well, not run, but participate in triathlon. I guess that's what you should call it. Race. Yeah, you need some good quality entertainment while you're on the bike trainer because it is so boring. Just sitting there pedaling. And if you're training for a triathlon, you're probably like curled up in like a pretzel, leaned over on your aero bars. Or maybe, hopefully, should be if you're training for Ironman or something. Matt, I think you just had a race this past weekend. Let us know how that went. Lori Hall's here. What's up, Chuck and Lori, watching from Louisville, Colorado. Awesome. Rod's here from Zionsville, Indiana. Mandy's here. Endless Cycle. Matt LeGrand. Awesome. Chuck Hall's in the house from Boulder. Sam's here from New Hampshire. Drew H says, so my Garmin 930 or 7, I can't read. 735 died last night in the pool. I've never worried about it in water since the triathlon watch. It's been in a rice bag for 24 hours. Any hope for life? It's 5 years old. Yeah, I would say, I mean, I don't know if hopefully it comes back to life, but I've definitely saved some things in bags of rice. Actually, the funniest thing that ever died from me. So I've only owned one drone in my entire life. And it's a DJI Mavic. It's the original one. I still have it. Still works, although I don't fly it because I don't want to get sued or fined by the FAA because things are getting crazy nowadays with flying drones and stuff. You really got to be careful out there. If you have a YouTube channel and you have, if you make any money even 1 cent, you really got to be careful with the FAA. So I just choose not to fly anymore because I don't know. I'm not going to risk it. Anyway, I mean, I have like the flying certificate, so I can fly as a hobbyist. But since my YouTube channel makes money, even if it's 1 cent on a video where there's a clip of me flying in it, like there's bad stuff that can happen. So yeah, if I need drone shots, I get them from Storyblocks or I hire somebody. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, story about the rice bag. This is where we're coming back. We're coming back. It's a circle. So I was flying my drone years ago, a long time ago, and it was over a lake, and I was getting this like really cool shot of like this person running on a trail, and I'm going like the drone is actually over the lake, so it's a really cool shot. Like you could see the lake and the trail and the runner and everything, and then all of a sudden I heard it in the distance go like bzzz, and then right in the water. And I didn't really know, but I was going sideways and was going straight for some trees that were like hanging over into the lake. And I hit one of the branches and it went into the lake. And instead of like standing there for even like 30 seconds and like making sure I knew exactly where it hit and where it went in the water, I just like threw my remote controller into the car and like I started running to where I thought it was. And then as I'm running there, I'm like, I have no idea where this drone went in. Like I know kind of where it was, but in a lake, like the water's not clear, at least in Indiana. I feel like if you're like maybe in the mountains out in Colorado or something, maybe those lakes are clear. Yeah, so I spent like an hour wading through water trying to find my drone. Finally ended up finding it, but it had been submerged underwater for over an hour. Got the memory card out, cleaned it out. Some of the files were corrupted, some of them were fine. But stuck the drone in a bag of rice for like a week. And all of a sudden, like it just wouldn't work. Finally, after a week, I took it out of the rice. And then like a couple weeks after that, tried to turn it on one time. And it just turned on and it could fly again, could capture video. But yeah, I don't do that anymore. So let's see, where were we? Kind of got lost. So yeah, Drew, I would say, yeah, just keep it in there for a while. It might dry out. I mean, yeah, hard to tell though. But there's a lot of really good watches out there. A lot of really good ones. I'm working on my review for the Garmin Enduro, and it's not going to be like a review like that you see someone like DC Rainmaker or Chase Summit or Matt LeGrand, someone like that who like goes into all the details. I'm going to focus this review specifically like more like on what it's like using it in a race, training with it. What does it feel like? Things like that. Because there's already plenty of videos out there that are really good, that focus on like all the details. So I'm going to try and pick out like 3 or 4, and I'm writing it right now, but like 3 or 4 kind of just like points that I want to focus on. But anyway, it's a really expensive watch though, which is going to be one of the things I talk about, because it's just, I don't know. I mean, they're doing their Garmin thing and just making their watches more expensive year after year. Let's see. Justin Turnbow says, have you ever messed with the Solomon Advanced Scan 12? I want to get a pack with more storage right now. I use a Solomon 8, need storage. Any ideas? Yeah, I mean, Solomon and Nathan. What do I have? Nathan? I have a Nathan pack. I have a couple packs. Most of them are Solomon. And I just like those a lot. I like the differences between Solomon versus everything else I've tried is that Solomon is really like, they focus a lot on like the elasticity of like it's really stretchy. You can put things in there and they don't bounce around as much. They're really light. They're really breathable. But like some of the fabric is like really thin and maybe it'll rip. Like maybe it won't last as long. Although one of my Solomon packs has lasted for like 7 years. And it's just barely starting to like show any rips. But you can get something like a Nathan or like Ultimate Direction or something else that's like something else along those lines. It's maybe like a little tougher, but I tend to just like the stretchy, like the ones where you can just like shove stuff in there and it doesn't bounce around as much. I also really like the way the Solomon bottles work with the vests because there's a soft flasks, and so as you drink, the bottle actually gets smaller and it conforms to your body. Like you don't hear the sloshing sound, all that. So I do like Solomon, but I've never tried the 12-liter versions of those packs. Over time, I've started trying to carry less and less on me, with the exception of No Business, because that was last year. That was, I was much more on my own, like with no crew, no pacer, just like really going from drop bag to drop bag. So I did shove more stuff in my pack, like jackets, gloves, pants, because the day was really hot, night was super cold. And so there was only 3 drop bags over the course of the whole 100 miles. And so, going into the night, like it's not really cold yet, but it's going to be cold. And so you're shoving pants in your back, jacket, long sleeve shirts, gloves, like buff. And then you've got your extra gels or whatever you got, GoPro battery, things like that. Like that was the one exception over the last couple races I've done where I did shove a ton of stuff in my pack. And in that race, the 5-liter was still fine, even for something like that. I think you want to start looking at like the 12-liter if you're doing, a race where it is, something that you are going to have to be a lot more self-sufficient at, like where you're going to have to carry a lot of clothes. That's the thing. Clothes take up the most space. So really cold races, like maybe a 200 miler, something like that. But for me, like I've been trying to do less and less to the point where even like I'm really thinking my next race, the Indiana Trail 100, I'm thinking about not even wearing a pack, like having because I've got a couple different waist belts that I'm testing out, and they're pretty big. Like you can shove a lot of stuff in them. So thinking about maybe just going that route instead. So we'll see. But I do have to carry a GoPro, so. Or maybe an Insta360. I don't know. They just sent me a camera today. So we're going to open that up tomorrow and film a vlog with it. Chuck Hall says, great video from Western States. Thank you so much. Oh, Mile 62 Running Channel says, Mandy, that's the meaning. Scroll back up. Mandy says 100K equals 62 miles. Okay, cool. So that's the story behind the Mile 62 Running Channel. 100K. Matt LeGrand says, all my drone shots are from story blocks also. Yep. I mean, it's the safe thing to do right now. Because what's happening with the FAA is that they're starting to crack down on anybody and everybody. Doesn't matter if you're a tiny little YouTube channel or you're a huge one. And they're hefty fines, like thousands of dollars for flying illegally, or not. Well, technically you are flying illegally if you're making money off of your drone shots, and you don't have a Part 107 license. So it's crazy. And then as technology gets better and better, they're going to start being able to like trace a whole lot of this stuff. Like, like how, I mean, in a couple years, you know how like YouTube like picks up, like it can listen to like Shazam on your phone, like you can listen to a song and just in 5 seconds tell what it is. Like YouTube's already got that for video. Like it can catch content across. And so once the FAA gets involved in that kind of stuff and they're going to start catching content, it's going to be crazy. They're going to go back years. So that's why I don't touch it anymore. I'm thinking about I've debated trying to get my 107 license, pilot license, but that's quite a bit of studying that you have to do, and it's a long test. And I don't know. I don't know if it's really worth it. John says, squirrel moment with the FAA. Yeah. Well, now that I've said FAA enough, they're probably going to like start hunting me down. Let's see. Have you been able to get your feet in the Salomon? Lori Hall says, have you been able to get your feet in the Salomon Ultra Glide? We've heard great things and can't wait to try them. I have not. I have not been able to try those out. Labes here from Bedford, Indiana. What's up? Adam Tice says, an early buckle cam shot, please. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Here's the buckle cam. You guys love this. You know, they're doing okay over there. Yeah, we can get back to back to normal. Yeah, I need to actually get like a cheap camera and just like mount it on the wall over there, because right now I've got this like contraption. It's actually my overhead camera, so I don't have an overhead camera right now. It's been moved to the buckle cam. Ultra Dad says, Evie Ryan, great drone story. You inspired me to start studying for my Part 107 license. After Cruel Jewel, I bought a book. We'll see how long it takes. Yeah. Yeah, I actually, even a while ago, like a year ago, 2 years ago or something, I paid for a full like online course to teach you all that stuff. And I made it through a couple of the videos. And it's just I don't know, for me, currently, doesn't really seem worth it to like go through all that work just to get that license. Now if I lived in a different place maybe and had a lot of really cool stuff that I could, or if I was like Seth, you know, and like get one of those ones that follows behind you and run, like that would be cool. But out in the mountains, I don't know. I see what else we got. What other questions you guys got? Nicholas Karen says, bit of a weird question. Nothing's weird here. Well, it could be, I guess, but bit of a weird question. How many GoPro batteries do you carry for a 100-mile race? Nice. That's a good question. So GoPro batteries, like I kind of know now, like how much I film, how long they're going to last. Like I know how much I film during the day versus the night. So I always start with a fresh one and I put one in a drop bag, hopefully like 25. What's up, Justin Turnbow? Super chat. Awesome, man. Thanks. Says, because you showed the buckle cam, long live the buckle cam. Nice. Awesome. Thank you, Justin. That's great. So back to the GoPro battery question. I always put one in a drop bag, maybe like 25 or 30 miles in, because I just know that I'm going to get a lot of shots at the starting line. And, you know, the first 20 or 30 miles of a race, like you have so much energy that you're just pulling the camera out all the time. And then I put one, I make sure I have one at like 70 miles or something. Because typically if the night is in there in the middle, I'm not filming as much at night. But yeah, so that's how it goes. I think even like for Cruel Jewel, I don't even think I carried an extra one on me. I think I just put one in every drop bag. And like, that's just, or maybe I put one with like the car. So it's just, yeah, but with the GoPro Hero 9, you can get away like with less batteries because the batteries just last a lot longer. And I typically don't film in 4K. I film in 2.7K because I just honestly think it looks and performs better than the 4K on a GoPro. Let's see. People are talking about Ultra Aspire packs. I've never tried one, but I would like to. That would be cool. Dan Nelson says flip belts hold a ton of gear. Yeah, I have a flip belt. I have the one I showed on the channel last video, the naked belt, and I have an ultimate direction belt as well that I just bought. I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not because it's almost exactly the same as a naked belt, but it actually has less storage. So the naked belt was really great though. Really good. Be talking about that a lot more on the channel probably because, yeah, as I said, I'm looking towards this next race that I have, the Indiana Trail 100, and wondering if I can get away with not using a pack. I've never not used a pack or a running vest for a 100-mile race, but this one specifically with the aid stations, most of them, I think the longest one is like maybe 5 or 6 miles, and just maybe having a handheld or just being able to stick one in like my belt or something, and then having the pack there in case I want to switch to it like through the night or something. Maybe that would be a good option. But yeah, I'm just debating, or not debating, I'm exploring the idea of maybe just running with a belt. What's up? Christy Wiley's here from Washington State, out here visiting family. Nice. It's awesome. Seek Your Elite says, what program do you use to edit videos? So I use DaVinci Resolve, which is you can get a free version of it, and it has like almost everything you need. So I would recommend that. I use the studio version, but honestly, you probably don't need to. There's like a couple extra things that it comes with it. What's up? Chase the Summit's in the house. Oh, hi. Ken's here. Ken McClop says, hey, Ryan, any good trails in the Indianapolis area? Heading there on business next week. Cool. I think the one that I know of, that has maybe like the easiest access would be Eagle Creek. You can go try that. That's on the west side. Pretty good trails. It's a lot of people there, depending on what time of day. But I don't know. I mean, I know there's a couple others, but that would just be the one I'd throw out because it's easy to get to, easy to park, easy to run. You're not going to get lost unless you go the wrong side. Just look it up. There's 2 sides to it. My friend Matt, he and I have ran down there a couple times, and one side is more rugged than the other. But if you look it up on a map, you'll probably get to the more tame side, because I don't even think the part I'm talking about is really even that popular. John says, yes, thought the buckle cam was dead. Nope, it's not dead. It is alive and well, and probably going to stay. Chuck Hall says, question, why do you think Hardrock times were so much faster this year? I think a lot of it had to do with the weather. From what I was hearing, the weather was like almost perfect and for Hardrock. I mean, obviously it rained, it was cold, like there was elements out there, but some years Hardrock is really cold, like really cold, snowing. Some years there's just rain for hours and hours. Sometimes it's too hot. So I think this year, from what I've heard, the weather was just really good. Also, I just think the competition, like there was some really, really strong runners out there this year. So, and I was kind of listening to the Ginger Runner interview with Sabrina Stanley earlier this evening. And she was just talking about how she was almost like she almost hit the course record. Like she was off by like 3 minutes. So that was really cool. That would have been cool to see. Yeah, she's awesome. Aaron Townsend says, "Hey Ryan, I think you used Lecky poles for Cool Jewel. Thoughts on their performance? Thinking of getting some from next hundo." Yeah, I really liked them a lot. I think the like glove and click system that they have is wonderful. It works really well. The only thing I would say is the gloves they didn't really fit my hands either size. They only have a small and a large. From what I could see on their website, like that's where I ordered the stuff from, was their website. The larges were just like too big. I couldn't even get them tight to where I want. Like if I'm wearing a glove that's like that I'm holding onto a pole with, I want it to be like kind of tight on there so it's not like slipping around. But the large was like the strap was overlapping on itself. And I'm 6'2", like I'm not like a tiny person. So I thought the large would be fine. And then I ordered the small, and it was like, I like barely got the strap to fit around my hand. But I used the small for the race, because that actually worked better. I could get it tighter on my hand so that the actual glove was not moving. And then there is like this, I don't know if it's nylon or what type of fastener it is, but it clips into the pole. That's a really great system. My only problem was that I think over the course of the race, I was like sweating so much that it was either clogging up the actual clip and like maybe it wasn't working as well, or like the actual rope that kind of goes into the clip was maybe like not sliding as well as it should have, because by the end it was like the last maybe 15 or 20 miles, I had to use two hands whenever I wanted to unclip, because it was just, they were stuck in there so well. So that was the only annoying thing. But other than that, they're super light. I got the Micro Trail Pro, so they were the carbon ones. They fold down really nicely. But for Cruel Jewel, once I opened them up, I never collapsed them back down. So yeah, I liked them a lot. The grip was nice. The cork, I didn't know what I was going to think about that, but the cork was nice. So I'd recommend them. It's too bad they're really expensive. Because I think it was like, I think they were like $170. And then the extra gloves were like $35. And I couldn't return the large ones because those are the ones that came with the poles. I didn't want to like return the whole thing. So yeah. Justin, love the naked belt and love that you aren't sponsored by a brand so you can give true reviews. Yes. Thank you. And I kind of want to keep it that way for a while. Like I'm not opposed to having a sponsor for a video or two or a couple videos. And yeah, I'm not opposed to something like that if it's maybe not directly related to what I'm typically doing. Like, I don't think it would be good for my channel if Hoka wanted to sponsor some videos. But if something completely different, like that I don't talk about a whole lot, or that's kind of like outside the realm of reviews that I would do, like maybe like if a sock company or something wanted to sponsor a couple videos, because I don't really do reviews on socks or anything like that. Like I wear what I wear, something like that. I could see that, coming in the future. Or a good example would be, I think DesFit is like sponsored by like a coffee brand or something. So like something like that, like something just a little bit off of what I typically would talk about or review. Definitely not shoes or really like gear. I mean, unless it just really made sense, and I don't know a situation that would, but I'm not ruling it out. But yes, thank you for that. I've really enjoyed not being tied to like a certain brand. I think it's really been nice for me, and I think it's been fun for all you guys. So we're going to keep it like that for a while. Let's see. William says, I've started taking gels during my long runs of around 2 hours. How do you judge whether to take gels with or without caffeine? Oh, nice question. So for me, I've always got some gels with caffeine laying around, and during outside of a race, I rarely use them. The only time I would is if I was doing a really long run, who knows, maybe plus 25 miles plus. And I was just feeling really bad, really in the gutter. Then I might take a gel with caffeine. But I save them for races for the night. And a lot of times I don't take them because during the night maybe I'm not wanting gels or something at that time. But yeah, I really actually rarely use gels with caffeine unless by accident, sometimes maybe. But I don't usually use them on purpose. I mean, every once in a while, maybe if I'm going on a morning run or something and I know it's going to be a couple hours, maybe the first one I'll take with caffeine or something, an hour into it or something like that. But yeah, typically I don't think there's, it's caffeine, so it's a stimulant. If you're used to it, and you have coffee every day, it's probably not going to mess you up that much. But if you're really not used to it, it could do some things, to your body that you're not used to. But yeah, less than 2 hours, I probably wouldn't. But that's just me. Nicholas Bodner says, super excited. My wife and I are expecting our first come this October. Any advice for an ultra running training once kids are thrown in the mix? I think communication is the biggest thing, because you're gonna be really, you're gonna have a lot less time on your hands, and so the time that you do have, you're just gonna have to communicate. And whether that means maybe changing up your schedule, if you're really used to running in the morning, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. If you're used to running in the evening, maybe you need to switch it, just different things. But, I would just communicate, what's important to you and see if that works. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, maybe you need to scale stuff back a little bit. So yeah, unfortunately, the answer is usually less sleep. So you can either run early in the morning or run late at night. Yeah. Good luck and congrats. Seeker Elite says, that's why I'm planning on using DaVinci as well. So good to hear you like it. Have downloaded the free version. Nice. Good luck with it. It's a steep learning curve if you've never used any type of video editing software, but it's nice. Hi, Lou Matos says, hi from Avon Lake, Ohio. What's up? What was your first 100-mile attempt? My first attempt was the Grindstone 100 in Virginia in 2000. The year's not on the buckle. I think it was 2017. That would be 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. No, that wouldn't make sense. Maybe it's 2016. I don't know. But yeah, first attempt, first completion. And it was not a smart thing to do. It was not smart to pick a Hardrock qualifier as my first 100 attempt. But I picked it because of the timing. I really wanted to do, so the prior year I had done an Ironman in October, and I just thought training in Indiana, that just seemed like the perfect time to do a race, because it was you're able to train through the summer, and then kind of at the tail end of summer where it was still hot, but it was starting to kind of cool off a little bit and get into fall, you could put in 3 or 4 or 5 really hard weeks and then taper into the race. And then the race was in the fall. Like October is a beautiful time to run. Probably one of my favorite months to run, just because of everything. The air is cool, crisp, leaves falling. Like, it's just beautiful. And so that was like, at the time, that was that just popped up as one of the ones that kind of fit. It checked all the boxes that I wanted for my first 100. And it was hard, and I knew it was going to be hard, and I kind of wanted that. Like, I just kind of, for some dumb reason, I just wanted a really hard one. So yeah, that was my first, and it went well. Finished it. That's all you can hope for your first one. Let's see. Oh, interesting question here. Austin Parker says, being an audiophile, what's your speaker setup? So I've had many different types of speakers over the years. The ones you guys see in videos, they're Yamaha. I think they're NS7s. Like, they're kind of a weird, they're a weird version of the NS10s and NS8s. They're a 7-inch speaker. And then I've had a subwoofer. I've taken the subwoofer away. Currently, the subwoofer's in the closet because I just didn't really feel like it was helping my mixes at all with my room and everything. But yeah, I mean, they're isolated a little bit with some foam. But yeah, I mean, I really like those because they're not like the best speakers ever, but they're right there in that range. Like, they've got a really good... they produce things in a way where you can get a pretty good mix for like a wide range of speakers that people are going to be listening to, and iPhone headphones and things like that. Sometimes when you get like super amazing, incredible speakers, your mixes, if you don't check them, your mixes are going to turn out, they're going to sound really great on those really good speakers. But you also need a second set of speakers that are like really junky speakers to test the mix on. And then you go back and forth. So, the benefit of having amazing speakers is that you can hear everything. You can hear every single frequency. You can hear every little nuance of every little, like that guitar string, whatever it's doing, like you can hear everything in it. That's not the case with maybe these speakers, like these Yamahas that I have, but they're kind of that middle ground where they can produce something that is a little bit more of a representation of what the general public and what even I'm listening to on. So I've just found that over the years, like, I've had really good speakers, and then I've kind of migrated to these Yamahas because they're just known to, produce a good like radio sound is what you kind of call it. So yeah. But I also check on headphones. I also, every YouTube video I make, I post it to YouTube, and then I watch it on my phone too, to check and make sure that things sound okay on the phone. And sometimes it's like, if there's a mess up or something sounds bad, it's like, it just depends. Is it worth fixing or not? On a video like my Cruel Jewel video that I posted, like, that was like, I listened to that many, many times and made many corrections. I think I even have a screenshot somewhere. I should like post it in a video somewhere of all the versions of my Cruel Jewel video that I bounced. Oh yeah, here it is. I found it. There's like 30. It's just a screenshot of my video export folder. And it's like Cruel Jewel test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4, test 30, test 35. So yeah, I was a little bit obsessed with that one. Let's see here. I think I'm like way backed up. We're getting into questions now about sponsors. That was maybe like 10 minutes ago. Let me see if I can go through these real quick. Non-running sponsor. Yeah, that would be cool. Sponsored by Storyblocks. Matt, I would take that. Tell him to come knocking. Fruit of the Loom. Maybe. Ken says, are we going to see a video review on the Wahoo Rival? Yes, definitely. It'll be after my Garmin Enduro video. That's coming quicker. Chase the Summit. My next Ultra video is going to be sponsored by Depends. Solid. Or maybe not solid. Aaron Townsend, big shout out to today's sponsor, Phil's. Oh, okay. Yeah, we could sponsor. We could do that sponsor. What are all these? Oh my gosh, everyone's just giving crazy ideas. Okay, I'm gonna get through them. What's up, Michael? You're here and you have a sane comment. Michael from Brownstown, Indiana. What's up? Oh my gosh. Yeah, Dave, if you need to do a video review on Depends. That would blow up. We should do a collab on that. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I just said that would blow up. Let's see. There's a lot of work in this channel. Why I probably won't have a YouTube channel, Justin. Yeah. Having a YouTube channel is a lot of work. But it's also really fun. So, all right. If you guys have any actual questions, throw them in the chat and I'll answer them. But yeah, I'm really excited. I've been texting with a friend for an idea of like possible like video ideas for things to do on trails in Indiana and like FKTs and things like that. Because there's really not a whole lot of, I think there's only like a handful of FKTs in Indiana. And so I think there's a lot of opportunity for making something like that happen. So that's something that's like been pretty exciting that kind of just started happening like 5 minutes before we went live. So you guys might hear more about that in the future, but as of right now, I'm just kind of like I'm on maybe like my 3rd week of build into like what would be maybe like respectable 100-mile training for me. I don't want to, for me. I'm up to, last week I did 50 miles. The week before that was like 45. So this week, hopefully I'll hit about 60 and then try to maintain for a couple weeks somewhere in there, 60 to 70 miles per week. And then hopefully, like, I'm really hoping that I can do as much as I can to kind of minimize this plantar fasciitis that I have going on. 'Cause it's just like out of the blue, like I trained my butt off for Cruel Jewel, was on a treadmill on the incline, like constantly, like should have really been aggravating any type of plantar fasciitis problem that I was having, but I wasn't having any problems. Did the race, took like 2 weeks of downtime. And then when I started running again, like the first run, I had that feeling afterwards. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like I just did this massive, like training blocks for Cruel Jewel, tons and tons of vert, like 200,000 feet of vert climbed in like 4 months. And is that right? No, it was less than that, 3 months. And, maybe it was 300,000 feet. It was 300,000 feet of vert in 4 months. Cause I was trying to, anyway, I was averaging like 17 a week. So a lot of climbing on the treadmill and outside. Made it through all of that, did the race, not a hint of plantar fasciitis, and then took 2 weeks of downtime where I wasn't really running at all. And then as soon as that first easy run back, I like felt it. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And it's just been getting worse. I've been trying to minimize it as much as I can. I've been wearing shoes in the house which I hate doing. But that helps with plantar fasciitis. I ordered one of my friends, who you all know. He has a world record. I'm not just going to name drop here. But he recommended some sandals, and so I ordered those. And those are coming, those are some Hoka sandals. So those are coming soon. So I'll be trying to kind of like minimize that. I've been doing a lot of stretching. I've been doing like percussion massage. I've been doing icing. And from my experience with plantar fasciitis, like I have a pretty long history with it in both feet. It comes and goes. And the last couple years have been pretty good. Like I've had about 2 years of like no pain in either foot. And now it's like just back, and it's just like raging. And it's, it's super painful. But what I've learned from plantar fasciitis is that it's just going to be there. And you kind of just have to kind of make friends with the pain. The good thing is it doesn't hurt that much when you are actually running. It just hurts a whole lot when you're not running. So we'll see. In fact, a lot of people were asking for a video on like how I got rid of plantar fasciitis. And I'm glad I didn't make it, because I probably should have made it, but maybe I'll make one about dealing with plantar fasciitis. But yeah, it's back. Mile 62 running says the sleep boot helps. Yeah, I've got actually 3 different versions of those boots. I've got big, huge plastic one that you like Velcro your foot into. I've got a sock that has like a strap on your toe that you tie like around your knee basically. And I've got another one that's just like a really lightweight one. So if it comes to that, I'll start wearing that again, but those are super annoying. The best thing that I've found to really minimize it is just to wear shoes or some kind of like orthotic, like sandals, like with a arch in them. And stretching. So I have this like, calf stretching board that you guys have seen in videos that I use like 3 times a day. So that helps. I'll see here. Justin says, are you still liking the Exosin socks? Yes, I wear them anytime I trail run. I wear them. Michael Powell says, what's the best GPS watch to buy to track elevation without breaking the bank? I think from what I have experienced with the watches I have, they're all pretty similar with tracking like vertical gain, elevation. I mean, Coros, like I have the Vertex, it seems to work fine. I think pretty much any Garmin you get is going to work really well. So if you can find like a 935 or a 945, that's going to work fine. I mean, the Sunto's okay. You can probably find a Sunto 9 pretty cheap now, but those are like pretty big on the wrist. But as long as it's got like a barometric altimeter, it's going to be able to actually track it in the watch rather than relying on the GPS data to calculate it later. So that's what I would say. Just look for something like that. Justin says, are you still using the Exosin socks, and do you pre-lube your feet with them? So during races, yes. I will put some squirrel's nut butter on my toes and like around, like not on my heel anymore, but sometimes I would do that, but mainly just on my toes. On my heel, I tape it before I put my sock on. And then my last couple races, I've never changed socks or shoes. So it's worked really great. Mark says, what's the hottest temperature you have ever run in? That's a good question. 51 degrees, 124 degrees Fahrenheit here in Mesopotamia. Whoa, that's hot. I don't know. I don't know what the hottest temperature I've ever ran in is. Adam Tice says Olympics have started today and trail running needs to be there along with gold, silver, and bronze would be buckles instead of medals. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. That would be cool if there could be like I could see maybe in 4 or 8 years, maybe the 50K being in there. Maybe, probably not. I mean, most people's mind, the marathon is still king. Nicholas Bodner says, thoughts on KT tape? I've used that a lot. I use it a lot when I had IT band problems. So you just kind of like put it right over the IT band, and then stretch it up your leg, make sure it fastens on there. Definitely get some like spray on glue, like for skin. Like there's actual spray on glue that you can find that's made for putting on before tape. Get some of that off Amazon, and that'll stay on really well. See you later, Matt. Thanks for everything. Hope your bike ride was awesome. Chase Summit says, our sport is not much of a spectator sport. Yeah, that's the other thing. That's the other reason why it's probably not ever going to be in the Olympics. But I don't know. You could do a 50K on a track. Squirrel's Nut Butter would be a great sponsor. And that would be perfect, honestly. If you're watching, I'm sure they're not. Yeah, Seek Your Elite has a good point. Trails and Olympics, how would they determine Olympic records or world records, as each Olympic Games would have different terrain and elevation profiles? Yeah, they probably just wouldn't be able to have any type of records unless they were doing the same course, but the Olympics are always in different countries. So, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you could still have a race, and you could still hand out medals. You just might not have records. Ryan Kraft says, hey man, tips for your first time marathon runner. Should you set a time goal or try and finish? Thanks. I think that really depends on your history as a runner, honestly. If you're someone who's got like a long history of track, maybe cross country, did that all through high school, maybe you've been running, since then your goals are going to look a little bit different than if you're someone who picked up running later in life. No problem with that. I did. I've been a runner for a long time, and like a casual runner. Before then I played soccer since I was like 4 until I was in college. And then I kind of took a couple years off of any type of sports, and then started running and doing triathlon later in life. What you would call later, I guess. I was in my 20s. But yeah, so for someone that picks it up later, I think just finishing is a really good goal for your first one. I mean, I think you could probably, if you're following a training plan, like Jeff Daniels' training plan or something like that, you could probably get a pretty good idea of what your paces should be. Like when you're doing your 18-mile run, or I don't know if he goes any higher than that, 21 maybe. Like you could probably figure out what your paces could or maybe should be, if you want to get into it that much. But if honestly, I would just say go out and have fun on your first one. Especially if it's a trail marathon, just go have fun. If it's a road marathon, that's when you can get a little bit more into the weeds of like all of the splits and paces and all that. Let's see. A couple more questions, and then we'll wrap it up here. Nicholas Bodner says, do you see YouTube personalities doing commentating for big races in the future as more and more big races start to become live streamed like Western States? Yeah, that could be cool. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, this year was kind of the year for live streaming races. I think Cocodona 250 like just blew everyone's expectations away. And then I know Western States was live streamed. I still haven't gone back and watched any of it yet. Actually, there was a comment. Someone made a comment on my video, one of my videos, that they were watching like the last hour of the race, and so many people in the comments were asking where John Truelove was. And then at the race, the awards ceremony, I don't know if the guy giving out the awards and the buckles was making a joke or not, but he said that John's name was the most refreshed name like on the live tracker out of anybody in the whole race. So there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people following John. But I don't even know where was I going from there. We were talking about live streams. Yeah, I haven't gone back and watched any of the Western States stuff. I just honestly, time is I have none right now. But yeah. Let's see. So I think, I don't know if YouTube personalities are kind of like overlooked or what. They definitely are, like in a lot of industries. I think ultra running is a little bit friendlier to YouTubers. And I'm not afraid to use that word. I actually like that word, YouTubers. It's kind of a nice fun name. But I think the ultra running world is a lot friendlier to us because through people, runner, Jamil, Billy Yang, those are just to name three. The sport was really built in a lot of ways. It was the last couple years, a lot of the growth has come from YouTube. And had you not had this avenue for people to go and check out ultra running, it probably wouldn't be where it is right now. So I think the sport in general is more open to YouTube people, YouTubers. So we could see. I mean, we might see. Well, like if something like that happens in the future, I don't know. I think it'd be cool. It'd be fun. Justin says, absolutely, John was tracked. Nice. Graham Angus says, yeah, a bunch of folks were cheering John's name on the Hoka live stream with Dylan and Karina. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Dave says, I was watching a live stream for John and they cut away when he crossed. Interesting. Like after or before? Ryan Kraft says, I learned about ultra running from YouTube. Had no clue about it before. Yeah, honestly, I can't remember exactly how I learned about ultra running either, but I really do think it was from YouTube. I think it was from finding people like Ginger Runner, Ethan, finding people like Jamil Curry. I really do think that's how I learned about it. That's definitely how I became more interested in it and how I developed a love for it and wanted to do a race like that. I still remember signing up for my first 50 miler. That was my first ultra. I still remember signing up for it. Yeah. John says, so humbled. Thanks all. Yep. It's awesome, man. Nathan says, I think live coverage will only get more and more common. The technology is so easily accessible and there's clearly an audience for it. Absolutely. I don't know what was going on with I didn't watch any of the Western States live stream because I was there, but the Cocodona live stream, like there was like typically over 1,000 people watching at any given time. And I don't know if that was like bots or what. Like, I hope it was real people, but it was like always right at 1,000 people. Even in the middle of the night, like sometimes like I would check it at like 2:00 in the morning Eastern time. And, I mean, I know it's like 9 over on the West Coast, but, there would still be like over 1,000 people watching it. And I'm like, this is crazy. But then like pretty much like the moment after, like within an hour or two of, Michael, what's his name? Michael. I just blanked on his name. Michael Versteeg finishing. It went down to like 200 people. So I don't know. Maybe it was real, and people were just waiting for the first person to finish. But yeah, I think it's going to get more and more common as well. The technology is so easy. Like I'm doing it. It's not that hard. It's so easy. Now it is hard when you're talking about getting a bunch of like drones out there that can live stream their footage and trying to get a bunch of people out there with phones on gimbals. I mean, the Cocodona, the guys that were doing that were talking about how they had like 30 gimbals spread out over the course, and most of it was on cell phones. And so that you're talking about like trying to keep those batteries charged and the gimbal batteries charged and the drones, like they had a bunch of drones out there with batteries, and you're relying all on cell service. And that's where it's going to get really hard for some races that are really remote. Like, I mean, Grindstone, for example, that race will never be live streamed unless you get like satellites that can do like cell signal way better than it is out there right now, because that course is a 50-mile out and back, and about 45 miles there's no cell service. So you're like, I mean, it's like a blackout for most of the race. Something like Bigfoot 200, they'll never get live streamed because I didn't have cell service for 4 days during that race. You know, something like Tahoe 200 might be a little bit easier because I had a little bit more cell service there. Same thing at Moab. I mean, I still was blocked out for a day or two at Moab. Didn't have any service. But yeah, I mean, some of these races, I mean, Western States, like the aid stations, only a couple of them that we went to had cell service. Some of them did, some of them didn't. I don't know. Cruel Jewel actually had really good cell service everywhere. So it's just like, it's just hit or miss. Like some of these races, you're going to be able to do stuff like this. Some of them, it's just impossible for now. Let's see here. Mandy says, I had to volunteer to be part of a running club, so I signed up to volunteer at ultra races because I wouldn't sign up for those. After our first shift, I wanted to ultra and never look back. Awesome. That's really cool. Jeremy Chambers says, do you have to qualify to run in the Cruel Jewel? No, I don't think so. There might. Actually, I think maybe you had to run 100 in the past. Like, I don't think it could be your first. Maybe I'm getting another race confused, but they explain if there's ever like a qualifier or prerequisite, like they'll have that on the website. I can't remember if Cruel Jewel did or not. Yeah, I'm not sure. Some of them though, like some of them that I've done, you do. Some of them you have to do volunteer time. Like for Grindstone, you had to have run at least a 50-miler, and then you needed to also do 8 hours of trail work, which is a lot. I mean, that's a lot. Like, it's like a full day. So, like, but other races I've done, most races I do don't have, like, trail work requirements. Or, I don't know. Honestly, I couldn't answer that. I don't know. I don't know if the last couple I've done, if you've had to do like a 50 or 100 beforehand. Justin says, what do you think about the fires at Tahoe? Will it cancel the race? Oh, I don't know. I haven't been following that. That'd be really sad. I mean, fires in general are really sad, but that would be really sad if the race got canceled too. There was fires really close to us when I did Run Rabbit Run, and they were saying, like, because I was out there like 3 or 4 days early, and they kept updating us. They were like, as of now, the race is not canceled. And then the next day, as of now, the race is still on. And then it was all the way up until the night before that we weren't even really totally sure, because the fires were within like a mile, 2 miles of the course. At one point, you can see it in my video. We run like right by, just smoke right on like the next ridge. Yeah, I don't know. That would be really sad if Tahoe 200 got canceled. But all right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. We'll be back next week. Working on a couple review videos on a couple, like I've got the Garmin review video. I've got like a couple trail running shoes that I'm reviewing right now. And Nova Blast 2. I've got like 150 miles on those at this point. I just need to put my thoughts on video and just get them out. And then got a couple brand new shoes in the mail on the way. So that's going to be really fun. So with that, we're wrapping it up tonight. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening to this in the replay, if that's what you're doing. And yeah, hope you guys have a great evening, and I will talk to you all again soon. Bye.